Hey everyone, Amanda Anderson here, Director of Marketing at Pira Consulting and co-host of the Hire Fire podcast. So I'm here in the podcast studio. I know Jeremy introduced me as well in his vlog that I've recently shared as well on social media. So thank you for that. But I want to talk to you a little bit today about something that has been on my mind since I switched professions or switched jobs, I should say, industries, and came to work for Pira Consulting and kind of what my journey was making that transition. And the term that's kind of coined with that is called imposter syndrome. And there's a lot of talk about it right now, there always has been, but I've seen more articles and LinkedIn posts about it recently. I posted one a few weeks ago. So I just want to talk a little bit about my history with it and my experience and what I've learned so far. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hey everyone, welcome back. So let's talk about imposter syndrome. It's just a term. It's a term that's being kind of discussed more now than it was even 10 years ago. And I hadn't thought much about it, to be honest, until the last 10 months. Well, since I've started at Pyra. This is a new feeling for me, not necessarily that I've never felt imposter syndrome or the fear of being found out as, being a fraud, as kind of more of a layman's term for it. It's not the first time I felt that. It's more that the stakes are higher the older I get, the more I learn, the more complex my roles become. That's when it kind of sets in. I've found that it's typically high performers that at least are the ones that we're talking about it right now. It may be very, very, very common and widespread. But for me, it's been more prevalent as I've climbed the ranks or, now entered into a new industry. So for those of you that don't know, which I would assume is everyone, I recently switched industries. So, still in marketing. I was director of marketing at my previous role. I managed a team of 22, 23, 24, I can't remember exactly. And I got results through others. That was primarily what my role consisted of. I was called it herding cats, which was a fun term and rather accurate. But now I've switched to a new industry. I am a department of one at this point. I am at the ground level of a company. Pyra is just a few years old. We're rapidly growing now, but it's a young company. And so I came in January 2021, January 2021, and it's been a ride. I very confident when I came in, especially since I initially was doing what was familiar to me: SEO, website design, and building. And we even talked about personas. We did all this stuff that was very familiar to me. But I had to then move into an area I wasn't familiar with, and that is social media marketing. And it turns out very effective, very interesting, and kind of fun, but again, foreign to me. And one of the things that was really scary over these last 10 months or so was is Jeremy, he's the owner and CEO here, is he going to find out that I'm a fraud? I don't know what I'm doing. Will this even succeed? My efforts, will it come to fruition of seeing results? And given the fact that, Jeremy and I are very good friends, that was a little daunting for me of shoot, not only am I going to let myself down, but am I going to let down my friend who took a chance on me? Um, I read on LinkedIn as well that some people are talking about this being kind of a sexist term, that it's being put on women, or traditionally it has been used to kind of put off women to being promoted, or they had to get over this before they could be promoted, and we should stop using the term. That hasn't been my experience. My experience with it is it's kind of self-induced. All of the pressure and insecurities that came from within. That was not put on me by anyone here or in my past, at least not in the last 5, 6 years. On the contrary, I've had nothing but cheerleaders behind me, men supporting me, and whether it's the CEO, whatever, very supportive. So, what is it? Why do we, as high performers, not men or women, but high performers, struggle with this so much? Um, it's just for me. I like to be the go-to person, the expert in my field. When I start a new position, I need to be up and running. I want to hit the ground running. I want to be that go-to person as soon as possible. I see it in a lot of people. Like I said, I managed a team. So many people, we put undue pressure on ourselves for speed. There's always about speed, and everything has to be perfect and amazing. And that is not fair to do to ourselves. Yes, there will be bosses and people who will put that on us. They'll have unreasonable expectations. But as humans, especially high performing humans, we need to stop doing that. Real quick example, one of the things that I now remember from a few years ago, probably quite a few years ago now, is Adele. You've heard of Adele. She's a singer, one of the most amazing singers, very, very talented woman. The reason one of her albums took so long to come out was she had this unreasonable pressure she had put on herself to supersede what she had done in the past, or recreate and be just as good or better, because that's what we like to do. Well, her fear of failure, of not fear of failure, correction, it's fear of being found out as a fraud. Look at someone with that amount of talent and how much she was so scared. She was paralyzed by the fear that she was a fraud, even though the rest of us could see her undeniable talent. And I think so often, that is what is happening when we're individuals that we're feeling like we're a fraud, or we're going to be found out as a fraud, or what have you. Everyone else can see it. We can't see it in ourselves, or we question and doubt. So what do you do? Okay, it's very common. It's not a female thing, right? So what do we do as humans that want to succeed and want to strive to be better? What do we do? So all I can do is speak from experience. For me, this kind of culminated about a month ago, where I was lacking energy and direction and really questioning my abilities. So I had to make some changes. First and foremost, it's going to sound cliche, but get some more sleep. Stop staying up late. I was very much staying up too late. I was always exhausted. So I didn't have a lot of energy. Collaborate. Whatever you're doing, bring in colleagues, critics, cheerleaders that will support you and give you good feedback. And even if it's just that reassuring voice of like, no, this is good, or you're on the right track, find those people. It could be on LinkedIn. I've been amazed at the network and support and encouragement that is on LinkedIn. So use your resources. And then try to stop or reduce things that are draining your energy. One of the things I wanted to try was to stop drinking for a little while and see if my energy level increased. And it has dramatically. Doesn't mean that, I won't drink again or that you need to do the same thing. It's just something to take into consideration of what in my life is draining me of energy. Because when we are energized and focused, we perform, we succeed. Our mind works better. We're not so hard on ourselves. And so while those seem very simple, small things to do, try those out and know this is more common than you will ever know. And just because men might not be raising their hands when asked about imposter syndrome and feeling it, doesn't mean they're not. Thanks for listening, and until next time.
Thank you for listening to the Hire and Fire podcast brought to you by Pira Consulting. Please check us out online via LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or at our website, piraconsulting.com. That's PIRA consulting.com.